start again with Myfanwy, which I'm sure a lot of you know. Only it's not the very famous Welsh sea shanty, it's the very vulgar northern pub song of the same name. It's about a young man from the north of England who comes to North Wales on holiday and meets a very young and beautiful member of Plaid Cymru called Myfanwy.
Un dau tri.
Myfanwy was the finest lass that ever walked Glen Conway. There's lots of ways to win a lass, but with her only one way. I told her that I loved her, but she just replied, if you want to go with me, you'll have to vote for Plaid. Myfanwy was a strapping lass, she had a fine complexion. Said what she needed most of all was another big election. So when I walked her home one night, I whispered to her, can we? She said, you'll have to touch me hard before you touch me, Myfanwy. Touch me hard before you touch me, Myfanwy. I've heard it in Dolgethley and again we, and I've heard it said throughout the Vale of Clwyd. The only one to touch it were a druid. You'd never think to look at her that she had learned karate, but before she let you hold her hand, you had to join the party. We went to Harvest Festival in church the other week. I took a bunch of roses, but Myfanwy took a leak. Touch me hard before you touch me, Myfanwy. I've heard it in Dolgethley and again we, and I've heard it said throughout the Vale of Clwyd. The only one to touch it were a druid. Touch me hard before you touch me, Myfanwy. I heard it in Dolgethley and Decca. And I heard it said throughout the Vale of Clwyd, the only one to touch it were a druid.
You're too kind. It's not very often that artists, I mean the painting sort, make the top 20. The only precedent we can think of is the occasion that L.S. Lowry hit the charts, a song that had something to do with matchstalk men and their matchstalk domestic pets. Well, at our weekly songwriting seminar, we thought we'd have a shot at something similar in order to give this particular number a little bit of local colour. We've invited along the reserve section of the Brighouse and Rastrick brass band vocal section, who set the whole thing in motion. With an artist's hands and a copper's feet, he took his brushes on the beat, the greatest landscape painter on the force. He had an eye for nature's beauty, but he always painted whilst on duty. That's good old English Constable of Course. We'll never know what he felt inside,
eyes, it must have looked resplendent. Constable, he'd always stay, but I'll never know unto this day why they never made him superintendent. An ordinary English bobby, but painting was his hobby. His painter's smock, a policeman's uniform. Picasso always painted cubes, and Gauguin always painted boobs. But you can't beat good old Constable for corn. Bum, 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 his paintings hang upon the walls of the galleries and the county halls, right next to all the Bacons and the Pollocks. And if you think that this is true, I have to say I pity you. This song is just a total load of bollocks. An ordinary English bobby, but painting was his hobby. His painter's smock, a policeman's uniform. Picasso always painted cubes, and Gauguin always painted boobs. But you can't beat good old Constable for corn. This next number is another country and western number, and we wrote it originally in the hope that Dolly Parton might like to perform it. Unfortunately, she refused on the grounds that she thought it too obscene, so we asked Judith if she'd like to sing it instead. Unfortunately, she also refused. Now, this song used to have 3 verses and 3 choruses. Now, unfortunately, it just has 1 verse and 1 chorus. But we've tried to retain for you just a soupçon of the obscenity that it once had. It's about a young woman who's waiting for her lover to return from Vietnam, and she goes to the station to meet him, only to find that some of the old magic has gone.
Now he stepped off the train that same evening in his uniform, tattered and torn, and he limped kind of slowly towards me, looking desperate and tired and forlorn. Now I told him how I ached for his body as he fingered his long-barreled gun. But my world fell apart, and I near broke my heart when he told me what the bullets had done. He said it's hard on the rich, and it's hard on the poor. It's hard on a table, and it's hard on the floor.
That always sorts out what kind of audience we have. Have you ever eaten out? Have you ever eaten abroad? Have you ever taken abroad and eaten out? If the answer to any of these questions is yes, then that experience is probably encapsulated in this next song. You pick the expensive restaurant, and suddenly you're terror-struck because you realize that within a minute you have to order your meal, and on the entire menu there isn't a single word you can pronounce. This song is about that very same experience. Na 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 na, na 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 na.
This one looks nice.
Na 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 na.
3 large potatoes,
Na 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 na.
pound of onions. What's this? Vanilla essence?
There's a recipe for Haute Cuisine in every woman's magazine. I take them out and I stick them in a book. And when my temperament allows, I take them out and I have a browse through meals that I don't have the nerve to cook. And though I know the meal I want and seek some pucker restaurant, I always end with dishes that I hate. However cordon bleu the venue, it's sacre bleu when I see the menu. It's written in a tongue I can't translate. Na 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 na.
This one looks nice. I'll have a What are you having?
There's bits of meat in stroganoff. Beans on toast is always off. Potatoes, so I'm told, can be kartoffel. Trout is always meunier, and aubergine is a type of pear, and treep is just an awful load of offal. It can be proved beyond all question, foreign words can harm digestion, and sometimes even undermine your slumber. So if like me you're hard to please, stick to takeaway Chinese, where all you have to do is choose a number. Na 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 na.
That's it.
Na 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 na.
Is it possible just to have chips on its own with nothing else? Stew.
Yes, ma'am.
I've got this feeling coming on. It's the kind of feeling you can't explain. Leastwise, not in words. No. I can feel a song coming on. And I'm gonna dedicate this song to Johnny Cash. It's called I Used to Do Dynamic Tension Exercises before I had my hemorrhoids removed. Kind of affected my voice too. Once upon a time, I was mighty fine and purty. I rode across the range for miles and miles. Now has come a time when I'm wrinkled and I'm dirty. Nothing ain't gone right since I got piles. I rode across to Denver, and there I met a Texan. We rode through Colorado's deep ravines. My partner always told me, riding ain't what wrecks 'em, it's sitting round that campfire eating beans. Oh, when I straddle that old saddle, I get this pain goes right down to my knees. But when I got to see that doctor, he said, son, all you need is a bit of axle grease. Horse doctor that was, by the name of Harriet. Wrote a book called If Horse Doctors Could Fly. Some have trouble with a gun. Some have trouble with a woman. Some have trouble making laws they can't enforce. Some have trouble making money. Some have trouble with a lawman. I have trouble getting on my horse. Oh, when I straddle that old saddle, I get this pain goes right up to my head. But when I got to see that doctor, son of a bitch just filled me full of lead. My pal and me, we're gonna take a trip to California, where there's oranges and meadows rich with grass. My partner always told me California girls are horny, and I'm in need of somewhere soft to put my ass. I rode across the range with Jesse and with Billy, but they died too young to feel this kind of pain. But when I travel westward, I sure look silly. My horse and I, we always take the train. Thank you all.
Ladies and gentlemen, a break from the comedy now, and I would like to sing for you a very lovely serious song with words and music written by Chris Stewart.
Magic fills my time, and the world goes floating by. Wonder fills my eyes, and I don't see the flowers die. This is the way my mind goes. This is my style of play. I want to hold you and love you and drift away in peace and quiet and idle picnics and magic. I'm too young to scheme. I'm too old, too wise to chase. If you move along, I can forget your magic face. But while you are here, I need you. You are my only thought. I want to hold you and love you and drift away in peace and quiet and idle picnics and magic. Summertime sun says goodness, sleepy time dreams bring haze. Birds sing the skies and leaves float the trees, and you and I can only sit and gaze. I'm too young to scheme. I'm too old, too wise to chase. If you move along, I can forget your magic face. But while you are here, oh how I need you. You are my only thought. I want to hold you and love you and drift away in peace and quiet and idle picnics and magic. And magic.
It's strange, isn't it? But through all the vicissitudes of hit parade fortune, rock and roll is never far away from the charts. And I suppose its current manifestation is in a genre of music that we choose to call doo-wop music. It's a word that hasn't been coined before, but you never know, it might catch on. We have a song now about a rather unfortunate, sad, Italian-looking devotee of this particular brand of music. And because of that nationalistic similarity, we've decided to call it Wop Doo Wop. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Wop doo wop doo wop shake. Wop doo wop doo wop shake. Wop doo da wop, wop doo da wop, 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 wop. My earlobes tingled with eau de cologne. My jeans clung tightly to my erogenous zone. I started to jive when I got to the heart, but the size of my pants, went wop to wop to wop, wop to wop to wop, wop to wop to wop shake. Wop to wop to wop shake. Wop 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 wop. Studs on my necktie must have looked like a dream. My whole head shone with the light of real cream. I danced with this chick till she started to drop, and she said that I looked, like a wop to wop to wop, wop to wop to wop, wop to wop to wop shake. Wop to wop to wop shake. Wop to da wop, wop to da wop.
that Clara Schumann's father wasn't human. He came home drunk each night and tried to hammer her. But that was just a smattering compared to the awful battering she took when playing preludes on her Yamaha. Taking your life in your hands. If you hear